Welcome back to Story Glimpse. In my story today, it begs a simple question. What would you do if you found yourself standing over a dead body in the Oval Office? Welcome back. I'm Weston Kincaid, best-selling author, and if you'd like to hear about more of my stories, other episodes, the links to my books are below, and it would really mean a lot to us if you like and subscribe, and hit the bell to hear about upcoming episodes. This is my story, Tech Support. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be the target of a hit squad? How about national enemy numero uno? Yeah, me neither, till now. At my feet lies the President of the United States. Seriously. Blonde toupee, thin frame, suit and all. A large shard of decorated ceramic sticking out of his head. His blood pooling at my feet. And I'm standing in the Oval Office. No joke. But ask me how I got here, and I can't tell you. I glance around the office at the national symbol emblazoned beneath my feet. The American flag hangs from a pole standing catty-corner behind the desk. This can't be real, I tell myself. But the banging on the door behind me shatters the illusion. Gunfire rings out and the door splinters. I duck for cover, elbowing my way beneath a narrow table against the wall. It sounds like they've grabbed a battering ram now. Each strike fractures the door more. A couple more blows and it will likely buckle. Glancing around from such a low perspective, I notice a button on the underside of the table. I momentarily brighten at the thought of a trigger switch to blow everything to hell. Some sort of final vengeance for the president if worst comes to worst. I never liked the man, but come on, he's the president. Then it occurs to me that I'd be dead. So would everyone in the hall. They have families, lives outside of politics. How many people will die if I push it? The novelty of the Rambo moment ends with the thought, no matter what got me here, I can't put their families in jeopardy. One person's future has already ended this day, and the hopes and dreams of the voters who put him in power. Staring at the button, I consider the likelihood of such a disaster. Would they really arm a bomb in the White House? A real godforsaken bomb? No, I conclude, not a chance. More than likely, it opens a secret passage. There have been rumors about secret passages for longer than I remember. I even recall a documentary talking about the Secret Service using tunnels to sneak Marilyn Monroe in to see JFK. That has to be it. I push the button, but can't help wincing as I do. Boom! Resonates through my mind as I press it. Thankfully, it remains within the confines of my skull, and I'm able to open my eyes. Did I hear it click? I stare around as the door takes more of a beating, cracking with every impact. I first thought the subtle sound was a drawer, but the wall and table itself shifted as though connected. Scrambling out from under it, my eyes widened with shocked amazement. I was right. The wall opened a crack, darkness beckoning from inside. For a split second, I give thanks to the contractors and security who so soundly built the door to the Oval Office. Any other would have buckled already. Wasting no time, I swing the wall aside. Yellow overhead lights pop to life one after another, revealing over 50 years of age. Metal water and electrical pipes line the walls, streaming farther than I can see. The door behind me gives a heavy, dry crack under a powerful blow. Shards of wood fly past. I leap inside the hidden passage and pull the door closed, spinning the wheel to lock it as though I'm on some retired sub. Without waiting to find out if they spotted my escape, I start running, sneakers squeaking across the cement floor. The hallway is long and gradually descends. An escape tunnel? Really? I can hardly believe it. Minute after minute passes with no end in sight. I'm growing winded. I played rugby in college until I graduated last year, but working as a software programmer in a cubicle doesn't leave too much time for that now. I slow to a more measured pace. It's the first time I've been able to think, though. How the hell did I wind up here? What happened? The questions race through my thoughts as I pound down the hall. This is great, just great, I conclude sarcastically, when nothing comes to mind and the hallway ends. Another solid will beckons on the final door, but what's waiting up behind it? I stop and listen, my ear against the metal door. I hear nothing. Then, sirens growing in the distance. It's impossible to tell how far away through inches of tooled steel. But the sounds are growing louder, more sirens joining in. What to do? What to do? If I wasn't panicked before, I sure as hell am now. But there's nothing. Not one more exit from this tunnel. I'm trapped in a sausage-shaped mausoleum. No escape. Then, as if on cue, the gears to the door at the far end begin to turn. Shit. I should have locked it, jammed it, something. But there's no time for would'ves and should'ves. A small L-beam attached to the tunnel overhead catches my attention. It's rusted and corroded, separating itself from the wall a foot above my head. It wouldn't help with escape, but even scrap metal would at least give me a fighting chance. Not much of one, but I'll take what I can get. Gripping it, the corroded metal flakes off and digs into my hands as I pry it loose. A nagging part of my brain whispers, "They're only doing their jobs. Will you really attack them?" Sounds of the door clanging to life, opening, followed by heavy booted footsteps, echo down the mile or two length of the shaft. While the civilized human nature within me agrees with the voice, survival instincts won't let me stop. I heft the 3-foot length of rusty steel and wait. It won't be long before they reach me. "What will you do with that pipe?" the masculine voice asks again. However, this time it's different, as though it gained a subtle Scottish accent and a far deeper certainty than I ever possessed. "I'll do what I have to," I hiss back aloud, trying to find my confidence. "They have pistols and assault rifles," the voice chides. This clearly isn't just my subconscious. I'm having a full-blown conversation with myself. Either I'm going nuts, which, granted, is possible considering the circumstances, or there's something far more messed up going on. Hell, I still don't even know how I got here. I remember the events before. I was on my lunch break and stopped at the sub shop down the street. I sat down, had a sub, and a mug of coffee. My usual. Then nothing. I just woke up standing over the body of President Wiggy. I know. I don't have much of a chance at getting out of this, but it's a chance. It's something. That's better than nothing, I tell myself. Look at you. It's like the Titanic is sinking and you're casting around for anything to grab hold of. You will die. What a pity. A pity? The sound of footsteps charging down the tunnel grows closer. Now I can hear the sirens without my ear plastered to the metal door. Yes, a pity. All that training, the tests, conditioning, everything will go to waste. "What the hell are you talking about?" I scream. The footfalls stop. I still can't see anyone, but I step to the side behind a girder. "Quiet," I remind myself. "Time is short," the voice asks simply. "Do you want to live?" "Of course," I hiss. "Then accept this. You are a cover, conditioned to be the best civilian around. Not too bright, not too stupid." "What?" I practically scream again, but this time I keep my lips sealed. "The ultimate Joe Schmo," the voice continues. "A kind of split personality, if you will. But something went wrong. You're broken. Step aside." The sound of hefting guns and carefully placed steps drift to me. They're getting closer. I want to take a peek, to peer back up the hall, but these are trained security guards, soldiers, and Secret Service. I'm just a computer geek. "No, you're not. Step aside," the voice demands. "How?" I question silently. "Like this," the voice grunts, and I feel something thrust itself into my place. It's as though someone carjacked me and shoved me into the passenger seat without waiting for permission. As I watch, my body acts. I drop the steel. My motions are fluid, confident, and designed with one purpose in mind: battle magic. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. My hands and fingers move in a synchronicity I do and don't recognize. Although I don't know the designs, the rituals, or anything about magic, I somehow know the intended effect and what they're called. It's like writing passenger allows his intent to leak over into me. "Who are you?" I ask, awed after a bolt of electricity shoots past the girder and up the hall, ricocheting off metal pipes, framing, and guns. The clips explode in the soldiers' hands, shredding their arms and neighbors. My voice comes out distant within my mind. The name's Carbine. Most people, mostly because of my explosive nature. Carbine responds with a laugh. He steps into the yellow glow of fluorescent overhead lighting. Secret Service and SWAT bodies litter the floor, muscles spasming periodically from leftover electricity. And you're Gage. I nod, or try to. Carbine seems to get the hint. So you're telling me that my whole life is a delusion? Well, not if you check the records. It's all legal-like. But yeah, your chaps, past girlfriends, even your Bonnie Janet, all phony. A collection of other people's memories and people we planted. Sad certainty descends on me. What he said has to be true. I can hear it in his voice. However, I can't help but plead, but I exist. However, replies Carbine, the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation. Stephen Crane, one of your classic American poets, if memory serves. Stunned, I don't know what to say. In fact, Crane is my favorite poet, and that's one of my favorite poems. Mine too, he replies. Wait, you can read my memories? Of course I can, Carbine snaps. We share interests. Makes the transition easier on the body and mind. Let's get to There'll be more coming soon. We can talk on the way. At first, I'm stumped by his words, but his intentions are clear. Leaving the bodies behind, he steps up to the door, leverages it open, and squeezes through into the overgrown shadowed park. I can only watch from the passenger seat of my mind. But you said I was broken. How so? Carbine quirks a smile that I can feel rather than see. We're supposed to coexist. I know you're there, but you don't know me. Neither of us were ever supposed to meet. That was the point, to give me the ultimate alibi. No knowledge of the act. A squeaky clean civilian. Can't blether about what you don't know. It worked at first, pretty well, if I do say so. Unfortunately, that didn't last long. Something gave way after I killed old Wiggy, as you called him. Why'd you do that? I interject. Don't tell me you liked the guy. Well, no, but that didn't mean the president needed to die. He did, Carbine replies. Trust me. Stepping out of the shadows, he moves in onto the paved walkway, meandering through the park, and lopes into a jog. I'm sure we make quite the sight, but it's dark enough that people likely won't notice. My striped blue and white button-up is wrinkled and untucked, and I had a tie this morning. I'm not exactly sure where it went. Aside from the fact that this isn't exactly running attire, the only thing that might appear suspicious are the droplets of blood splattered across my shirt. However, there seem to be far fewer of those than I thought, now that I catch a glance. Carbine is breathing heavier by the time we reach the parking lot, but not panting. Street lamps light the asphalt periodically. He's in pretty good shape. Or I am. I'm not exactly sure how to think about this. Being in the passenger seat makes it harder to think of it as my body, but it feels like mine, except for my lack of control. A dark van pulls up a few yards away. The door slides open and a woman with long brown hair steps out, armed with an assault rifle and flak jacket. Logically, I want to panic. This could be anyone from the government, but Carbine chuckles. Throwing his arms wide, he says, "Palantine, where have you been, lassie?" She raises the rifle, aiming right at me. Or us. Carbine tenses and stops. "Carb, we've got a problem," she says. "You broke protocol." "Protocol?" Carbine scoffs. "There is no protocol for this. Quit your bullshit." Closing the distance, he casually steers her weapon aside with a hand. Palantine's jaw sets. She flips the rifle, slamming the button to my face. Oddly, it doesn't hurt, though Carbine winces and stumbles backward. "What the hell is this shit?" "Don't even think about it, Carb. We don't have time for this." "But the mission was a success," Carb pleads through a gushing bloody nose. I can sense his confusion. "That one was. This little problem just threw one heck of a big wrench in the timeline. HQ wants you for tests." "What are you doing?" asks a voice from the dark interior of the van. Timeline, I wonder? Palantine holds up a hand, forestalling her teammate. "Give me a second." "Yeah, timeline," Carbine answers silently. Guess the cat's out of the bag. The sequence of events begin to click into place, however impossible it seems, as though any of this seems plausible. These are time travelers. "Just come on in, and we'll get this out of the way," Palantine orders. Her voice is detached, emotionless. "Something's not right," Carbine says silently. "Gage, pay attention here." To Palestine, he says, "Look, we can work this out. There's no reason for tests." He holds out a hand, palm down, as though he can physically lower the tension in the situation. Her eyes flit to the side almost imperceptibly. Carbine makes a move for the gun, but she hammers him with the stock, uppercutting his jaw and sending us flying backward. Her eyes flit to the side again, telling us what to do as she takes a menacing step forward. "Carbine," I query. No response. She takes another step. "Carbine!" Nothing. I can feel the anxiety building like ants in my freaking pants. "Carb?" Palantine asks, concern showing in her dark eyes this time. I know what I have to do. With a force of will I've never exerted before, I shove myself forward, taking control. Pain shoots into me from every bruised muscle, a broken nose, and an aching jaw. Sitting bolt upright, I leap to my feet. The abrupt motion catches Palantine off guard. Giving her a quick shove, I turn and run into the shadow-strewn park. A few silent shots whiz past, and I change course. "Veer left, then right, left, then right," I mutter, panting with exertion. Carbine still hasn't responded. He must be down for the count. Suddenly, a stabbing pain hits me in the back, bowling me over. It takes a moment to gather my wits, and for the pain to subside. Thankfully, it wasn't lethal. By the time I can breathe, Palantine and two men dressed in matching black flak jackets and crew cuts step into view. They peer down at me, weapons slung casually but still aimed my way. They are speaking, but I can't make out what's being said through the static in my ears. The look on Palantine's face is one of fear and concern. Finally, the voices start to shape words, becoming clear. "Man, Tiny, what in the world happened to you? I've never seen you miss like that," the blonde complains. "Guess I'm off today," Palantine replies with a half-hearted chuckle. "I hate to do this, Carb," the dark-haired man adds. From this perspective, his chiseled jaw stands out like Fort Knox. Palantine kneels and gazes into my eyes. "That's not Carb," she finally concludes. "Whoever's in there, it isn't Carb." The last statement ends in a sad whisper. "But he knew you," counters Fort Knox. "Yeah, but not now." Blondie stiffens, and the relaxed hold on his gun goes rigid, trained on me. But it's too late. My hands are in motion. Not sure exactly how it works, I repeat what Carb did in the tunnel. Distracted, Palantine doesn't notice. Her body and the darkness shield the small movements from the others. Rolling out from under Blondie's aim, I rise to a knee at the last moment. "No, I'm Gage, and y'all motherfuckers messed with the wrong computer programmer." Electricity surges through me, and I focus my intent the same way Carbine did. Thrusting out my hands, bolts of silvery electricity shoot into the three assailants. The experience is unparalleled, as though lightning itself has hold of my balls and won't let go till it's goddamn good and ready. I try to focus on the two men, to keep Palantine out of the arcing bolts, but it's like trying to wrangle ghostly cats. All three people spasm and cook. Their ammunition ignites, shrapnel flies in all directions, and I feel a sliver enter my thigh. But I push through until the surge is finally spent. Only then do I notice the pain and the smell. A pungent, acrid stench I didn't notice before since I was riding shotgun. The odor of charred human flesh is inescapable. A pang of regret enters my thoughts for Palantine. I hadn't meant to hit her, but there was no stopping it, and clearly, she and Carb had something going on. Unfortunately, it's that moment when Carbine wakes to see the carnage. A scream echoes through my mind, disrupting any hope of strategic thought. The one thing I do know, looking at the bodies spasming on the grass, it's time to run. But to where? And when? The end. Thanks again for joining us here at Story Glimpse. I really hope you enjoyed my story, Tech Support. Again, I'm Weston Kincaid, best-selling horror and mystery author. Links to my books are below, and if you enjoyed the story and would like to hear other episodes, please like, subscribe, and click the bell. If you leave a comment, maybe we can even post some stories or topics that address some of the things you may have concerns about. So thanks again for joining us. Have a good day, and remember, keep writing.